Доброго дня, шановні.
Good morning, dear ladies and gentlemen. Ukraine Crisis Media Center continues its working day. We greet everyone who joined us in the hall and who watches online. The topic of the next press briefing is presentation of Chamber of Commerce with headquarters in Riga, export opportunities to EU for Ukrainian business. And the floor is given to our speakers. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Today we're going to speak in Russian. We have guests who understand Ukrainian, but they cannot speak Ukrainian. At the moment, we are glad to welcome you here. We are welcoming our colleagues who watch us online. This is the continuation of the work of the trade mission from Latvia to Ukraine. And today we have a briefing. We are going to position the Chamber of Commerce with the headquarters in Riga, and I would like to give the floor to the head of the board of Chamber of Commerce. The floor is given to Olexander Petrov. Good afternoon, everyone. In these difficult times, a breakthrough happened, and Latvia-Ukraine story in different formats and the format of the mission, this really was implemented together with Mr. Mežulis. He is the representative of the agency and we on investment, and we are speaking about the broadening of opportunities of co-financing of export development to both sides. We're speaking about European orders for production in Ukraine, private label, and the coronavirus. You know that China is not always appropriate, and we as a trading structure, we help foreign companies to go to enter Ukraine, and our main mission is work with with Ukrainian enterprises and with Ukrainian products. Thank you, Alexander. I hope you will tell us more about the Chamber of Commerce. I would like to say that the Chamber of Commerce is working on two platforms with headquarters in Riga, and also it works in Kiev. I represent the interests of Chamber of Commerce as a partner of Olexander, and now I would like to give the floor to diplomatic attaché of Latvia on economic issues in Ukraine, head of LIA structure, Inars Mežulis. 5 or 7 minutes. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for this invitation to participate in your briefing. I represent Latvia Investment and Development Agency of Latvia in Ukraine. This is the agency subordinated by the Ministry of Economy. At the same time, I'm an economic attaché of Latvia in Ukraine. I work as a diplomat, and we have offices in more than 20 countries, and our main task is to deal with the export of our products to different markets. In my case, this is the Ukrainian market, and to attract our investment to Ukraine and to create joint ventures. Our agency create such joint ventures in the territory of Ukraine or in the territory of Latvia. And the interest is growing from both sides. And if we may say that this pandemic even helps somehow people understand that they should work faster, more appropriately. And people will be able to create something jointly, and in this they are going to win, because there are always risks in business. And those who do not risk, they do not drink champagne, as they say. At the same time, The territory of Latvia is of interest for Ukraine, taking into account that our country is a EU member state, and if the enterprise is created in the territory, so this product is created in the territory of EU, and it will be easier to integrate it into European and world market. Or we may create some production in the territory of Ukraine, and we will produce some products jointly, and these products we will be able to sell in other countries. And at the governmental level, several weeks ago, there was intergovernmental negotiations between Latvia and Ukraine, and these were bilateral negotiations, and the main priority is transit and logistics. And the ports of Latvia, we have 3 big ports, and 2 of them are without freezing water. They work throughout the year, and all the ports are considered as free trade zone. And if something is produced in the territory of ports, this is not taxed, and this is really interesting for Ukrainian side. This is about the export of the products, grains, export through our ports, and the issues of logistics and rail transportation and container transportation, what we call Baltics, and then the south, Scandinavia, Caspian Sea. We may develop this direction, and the third aspect is to increase number of flights between Baltic countries and Ukraine. As we know, before pandemic, there were several flights a day, and Mao flew there. There were 6 flights, Riga, Kiev, and now we have 4. Unfortunately, they are all closed because of this situation with coronavirus. And there were flights to Odessa from Riga and to Lviv, and we had negotiations with Air Baltics to start flying to Zaporizhia, because we believe that this is a very interesting region for us, Zaporizhia and Dnieper city. For us, these are industrial regions. For us, it is very interesting. And before all the story with the virus, the flow of tourists from Ukraine each year to the Baltic countries, and this flow increased, including to Latvia. This business was developing, and compared with 2017, 2019, there was a 12% increase. There were many hotels that were being built, and there were many tourists from different countries, and Ukraine was one of the main places from which tourists came to Latvia. So about my task, I work here, but the business is not done only here. We go throughout the country, and I provide contacts of enterprises. I work at the political and state level with big projects. So this is what I do, what I'm trying to do. Inars, we are really glad that you had this mission, because you know Ukraine really well. You have been working here for a long time. You were mayor of one of the cities, and you communicated greatly with our cities. And as a deputy of Sejm, you actively participated in cooperation between Ukraine and Latvia. I have 2 questions to you. When will our officials confuse Latvia and Lithuania? And we often hear about it, and why it happens so. And this year, they plan to have many delegations from Latvia to visit the president of our country. And whether the story remains, are they cancelled, delayed? We would like to know about these visits as well. And audiences would like to know about it. For 13 years, I had the city in Latvia, and we started to make friendship with Milta Dragovic in Lviv Oblast and Pustomit, Lviv Oblast, and now we have a third city, Dobroslava city in Odessa Oblast, and I became a deputy of the parliament, and I had the interparliamentary mission between the Sejm and Verkhovna Rada, and we had 10 cities of Latvia, and they cooperate now with the cities in Ukraine, and this year introduced some calm because the majority may only have webinars online. I have one example. There is a project, and Europe provided money for this. Nizhin make friendship with Freya in Latvia, and there was a contest of children's paintings, and there were children from Ukraine, Georgia, and Latvia. They created a special jury, and now we have today at 3 we have a webinar online, and they will tell us who the winner is, and the prizes will be provided to children from those 3 countries who won, and also why they confuse Latvia with Lithuania, maybe because the titles, the names of the country, they are similar, and it is easy to understand the languages of both countries if you speak slowly. And we are neighbors, and people sometimes they cannot differentiate between us, but we believe it's okay, and there are we do not speak only about Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia. We are speaking about the Baltic countries for joint big projects. And there will be a new railway that will connect Scandinavia through the Baltic countries, and then it will go to Europe. And there is intergovernmental meeting, and they want to create Warsaw-Lviv railway line, and then to connect Ukraine to this route for transit. This is very important. It is important not only for Ukraine, but also for Europe, for the Baltic states, for Scandinavian countries as well. About the visits this year, 3 times there were delays of the visits of the president of our country and your premier minister to Latvia. Last moment, they cancelled it. It was appointed for the 19th of December, and we introduced quarantine because the pandemic goes up, and in Latvia, if you consider the number of people and tests that are made, can be compared with Ukraine. I had this virus, and I overcame this illness, and they said, the doctor said that you may be safe for half a year after this. About the visits, tomorrow we will have special negotiations between our embassy, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Latvia, and our agency, and we are going to speak about the plans for the next year. And now everyone understands that economy is #1 priority, and we should not double visits of the ministers and the prime minister and the president at the same time. There will be some economic exhibitions or business forums. If there is a visit of President of Latvia to Ukraine, there should be business delegations that will come with him to open business forum, to have their own programs. The president will have the program, and the businessmen will have a separate program for them. Or, for example, our president would come Next year, and the president of Latvia and Ukraine will open business forum in Kharkiv in IT sector. In Kharkiv, there is a big IT cluster, more than 1,200 companies, and businessmen wanted to come with our president. Or 30 or 40 companies wanted to come here, and there will be this seminar on the 30th of November. IT cluster from Kharkiv will negotiate with the companies from Latvia. Now the question to Alexander. Together with the entrepreneurs, you came in such a difficult time, and you understand that when you go back to Latvia, you will be self-isolating for 10 days. I wish you successful trip and not to fall ill, and I know that you will attend the industrial forum. And please tell us several words. Yesterday you got a certificate in the Chamber of Commerce. There was a big event attended by ambassadors from both sides. Now you will represent the interests of the Chamber of Commerce in Latvia. Tell us please several words about this. And the second question, there are many skeptics. They say that if you open a Chamber of Commerce, you should open it in Prague, in Warsaw, closer to Europe, European Europe, as they say. Several words about the priorities and what is the interest. Why it is interesting for entrepreneurs to go to Europe through your platform. Thank you very much. This is a good question. It is correct. Yesterday, Mr. Chuzhikov provided a certificate to me that I have an honor to represent the Chamber of Commerce of Ukraine in Latvia. And this event became one more economic bridge that institutionally came to unite our countries. And the business, they search each other not through Google, but through institutions. They get necessary consultations. And due to Inars, we may get co-financing from European Union. And this will allow us to open European market for Ukrainian products. This is big work. This is not some magic pill. There are stages, big work of team of people, and intentions of business owners. This is the main. When owners and Director General, they see themselves strategically in Europe, and there will be less obstacles because of this. About how to enter. The difference between Latvia and Lithuania. In Latvia, there is no income tax, and in Lithuania, everything costs a lot, everything expensive. And these are figures. This is not about emotions. We may take calculator and count everything. And only dividends are covered by tax, and the money that is provided in operating activities and investment, this money is not covered by taxes. And in 1 million, when you have 1 million, you show your million, and this million is a report for your partner. They see that you have profits in your company, that you are not some entity that like they have it in other countries. So the main reason why we did it, not in Warsaw or in Berlin, because this is expensive to do it there, and also logistics, non-freezing ports, Zulber restart search for containers, and had former head of Latvia Railway, he now also works in Ukraine in railway sector, and this will allow us to increase activities in the ports and in the routes, and the Chamber of Commerce as an institution, this is a commercial entity that works in the format of B2B with European business. When we helping European business to negotiate, because it is difficult for Europeans to negotiate with Ukrainian enterprises because of some mental reasons, language reasons, and we remove all those obstacles. We have personal managers for the companies, and they work in different directions. We have many successful projects that efficiently work. Of course, not every project may pretend for European markets, but this is no is also an answer. Maybe you should work on something more. You should not have illusions, and the budgets should not be spent for illusions. Because there are some illusions that when you come to this European market and everyone is waiting for you, but there is big competition, they wait for service, for quality, and they want to have good, clear communication. Alexander, as an entrepreneur, the main problem is fear. Fear of not knowing the territory, local peculiarities, from one side and from the other side. And the Chamber of Commerce is not only a point of entry to Europe, like they said earlier, the window to Europe, they said. And now Latvia can compete. And the sphere. So your managers remove the sphere. As I understand, there are no problems concerning language barrier. A lot of people speak Russian. Latvia does not consume a lot of products because the number of population is not so big. But at the same time, there are a lot of benefits. Please tell us about several cases that are successful, in order that entrepreneurs understand how they can work and in what period of time they will be able to reach some results. This is a long and good question. I would like to provide a metaphor. If a man comes in a black room, he should find a torch and do not know where it is, or find a switch and turn on the light. And then he will feel good. And the Chamber of Commerce is this light. And the entrepreneur, now they have ready-made solution. They may just come and we will help. Once again, these are the stages. Each business has its developmental stages. Formations and confusions. They believe that the registration of the brand in Ukraine is enough for the world. Now, this is not the case. You may go to the market with your brand, and competitors, they are not sleepy. They may register your trademark in Europe, and then you won't be able legally to protect yourself, because registration will be first in the European Union, and there won't be priority of Ukrainian brand. If, for example, you dealt with your brand for 20 years, they may just take it away from you. So also, the entry to the market will be cheaper if the company is not sure, but they have experts on the market, and this will allow, due to the efforts of personal manager, you should not create joint ventures at the first stage. This will be done at further stages when you understand that the market consumes the product and there is a profit. Less money will be burnt at the first stage. It is really important for the entrepreneurs to count everything, to calculate, because otherwise nothing good will come out of it. And the Chamber of Commerce, we believe that for example, Latvia, they have 1,900,000 population. This is not a big market. But if we take into account historic prospect, as Inars said, we now go along the way, and the Latvians, they went along this way 5 years ago, and we see the mistakes that were made, and we now may really provide competence, provide experience, in order that entrepreneurs use this experience of Latvia in order to increase their efficiency. This is not just a Ukrainian company, there may be some Ukrainian companies that will become international and will work in the market of Europe. And the Chamber of Commerce, this is only headquarters, but we are working in different countries of Europe. We now starting to deal with Scandinavian market and many others. So the competence of Ukrainian specialists, they are really professional, service, products topic, a lot of competition, high competition is in the sector, and you should wish to move forward and to develop. About successful cases, the examples, in order that entrepreneurs understand what time is needed to reach positive results, half year, in order that people understand what they can count on. A successful case, this is a Desa enterprise. We are working with them for about 1.5 years, and now we reached state orders that may provide additional sufficient orders for a year for this enterprise. And European customers should understand that this is not something that will happen one time, that this is a system in place. When they understand this, then there will be active phase of negotiation. For some products, half a year is needed, or a year is needed, or 1.5 years needed. We do not promise some magic stories. Everything we do is the result of joint work that we do each day, and we do it we work in positive moods and negative moods, but we continue, we understand business. We understand that there are different things. Sometimes people even shout. So there is cooperation with exhibition centers in Ukraine, in Livoberezhnaya region, and with Adin company, we have contract with them. This allows Ukrainian business to come there and to show successful examples. Riga food exhibition, please tell us several words about it and what entrepreneurs get from this. Ukrainians are more competent than this. You are right. We have the contract with the exhibition center in Livoberezhnaya region, and we plan to develop Latvian stands there. We will tell about Latvia's business opportunities there, and to get people acquainted with this. We have contract with our Riga exhibition center, and Baltics and Scandinavia, we cover this region, and maybe Poland. So this is where we are active. And during pandemics, everything stopped, and Riga food exhibition happened in autumn. This was online mode with offline, but the consultations were provided online. We proposed to Latvia's company to place their products in Ukrainian markets, because Ukrainian markets for European producers maybe it is risky, but you know that the return of profit, return, if we have 3%, this is success, and 5 is ideal. And here you have 20 and 30%, and this is only at the first stage, the profit that you get, and the competence of Latvian business, they are really going to be successful here. Inars, a question to you. You are dealing not only with commercial projects, but also cultural projects. Please tell us about the experience that you have concerning this. Do you have plans in this sector? And we would like to hear about the opportunities to invest from your bank to Ukrainian business. About cultural projects. Some festivals and exhibitions are sponsored. In the majority of cases, these are economic contacts because cultural projects are dealt by other institutions. About financing, yes. There is Eurofund money. They go through our agency. And we are subordinated to the Ministry of Economy of Latvia. There is money from the fund, and there are grants, and joint ventures are being created, and Ukrainian investment also go to Latvia, and our agency helps to develop this company and takes responsibility to help them succeed. And when the government is changed, the power is changed, nothing affects it. There is the European Union, European money, and this is coordinated not only by the Latvia's government, but also it is coordinated by the European Union, and each project that is created, where we have Euro fund money. For the next 5 years, you should provide a report anytime from the European Union. A representative may come and, for example, they may say that they want to see the plant in which the money is invested, how it was provided by the project, and then they may impose fines and they may require money back. So there is responsibility of the state and the agency. That's why in this case you have some sort of insurance, and investors should not be afraid. What they create in the territory of Latvia, it is the territory of the European Union, and their business won't be lost. About the work and development of the business, this is responsibility of entrepreneurs. They should develop their business. Second aspect, we've created the State Bank of Investment. Altum, it is called. The auction and the Ministry of Agriculture, and the Ministry of Economy, and the Ministry of Finance, they support this bank, and they allocated more money and support to entrepreneurs for different. They provided different programs. One of the programs that will be interesting for Ukraine, as I've said in the beginning, if you create a joint venture, then this bank is ready to co-finance. And not only for local entrepreneurs, this is of interest. If a commercial bank takes a credit, then you may get money also from Altum Investment Bank, and there is a guarantee. We could not foresee this situation in hotel and tourism business and aviation, and then now take the guarantee in commercial banks in order not to bankrupt enterprises and to overcome difficulties and to work, to continue the work in the future. And there are many other types of support and programs of support for example, if a family buys a flat, there is a special state program for support. You should not go to commercial bank to get a mortgage. You may go to the state bank. And if in your family there are difficulties, then they won't consider it as a commercial bank. They do not ask. So they help families to get mortgages and to remain in their flats in case of trouble with the money, unlike commercial banks. We believe that also in this area it would be interesting to develop cooperation between Latvia and Ukraine. And I know that at political level, Latvia supports Ukraine, taking into account that there is military actions in the east, and that there is a task for Latvia to support, and they actively support in rehabilitation of military personnel. A question. About business in Latvia, about cooperation with the east of Ukraine, with Donetsk Oblast, with Dnipropetrovsk Oblast. What is your perception? I'm from Donbass myself, and we want to be heard on how to help entrepreneurs to deal with these issues. Answering the first part of your question, I would like to say that Latvia helps and is going to help in the future. Despite pandemic, your military men, they undergo rehabilitation in Latvia, and Latvia allocates from the budget money each year. And we have rehabilitation center in Varvar, in Jurmala, and this is really a modern center, and we accept military personnel from Ukraine, and they undergo rehabilitation there. And I really contribute to this work. I do not get any money for this. I volunteer. I organize camps for children, those who lost their fathers in battles in the East. And God forbid such actions in Latvia. I hope for a better future for children, and we should help children, and our camps accept children, and no one takes any money for this. Children relax there, they have excursions and different events. They stay there for 2 weeks during vacations, during holidays in summer or in winter, and when they go back, we want them to feel relaxed, to overcome the fear, because they lost their families, their fathers. So about flights to Zaporizhia, to industrial regions, if there is a good proposal, we will consider it. There is a big problem. Why they fear not only Latvians, but also foreign investors to invest. They understand that they may invest money and then government changes, and they may say that they do not want this. Take your plant or take your investment or close your production, and we won't develop it further. I was telling about it for several days that our local governments, they try to attract entrepreneurs and investment. If a plant is built in the territory of some territory in Latvia, they provide 50 or 100 working places, and the salaries for the workers. 80% of taxes, they remain in the territory, and only 20 goes to the state budget. And each self-government in Latvia, they are interested to have more enterprises, to have more taxpayers in their territory. Then this territory becomes rich, and they may build schools, kindergartens, culture centers, and to develop their self-government infrastructure. This is first. And each self-government, they provide different benefits. They may provide 90% of exemption from property tax for 5 years, for example, land tax. When you build a plant, the tax on buildings, I mean property tax, 90% exemption, and the business considers this proposals. Why not? That's why Latvia, this is not only about Riga and big cities. Many plants, for example, wood processing plants, they are closer to raw materials in small cities and towns. Also concerning processing of milk, they want to be closer to raw materials. So, summing up, Latvia's business monitor the situation, and when they see that the conditions are proper, then they will enter the markets. And we, from our side, should get your experience how to create such conditions in order that business move forward. Yes, yesterday I heard that in the nearest future your parliament will consider the draft law on state guarantees for big investors. One big plant in Chernihiv Oblast, I saw that there are many remains from the wood processing. This is a product that is not being used, and we may do pellets from this raw material, and there is big demand in Scandinavia for this this product, and there will be big export product. And we collected information about this raw material, and no one needs this raw material there. And we have pellet granulars plant with the requirement to calculate whether it would be appropriate to cooperate with the Chernihiv plant, and they make calculations, and they said that investment should be 20 million. But who would guarantee that when we build this, maybe someone would want to take this plant away from us or buy it from us? So there should be a guarantee from the state. If big money is invested, the state should take responsibility that this money will remain, and there should be a contract. And I believe that many investors would invest in Ukraine in such a case. So there are risks, there are good examples and bad examples I heard from investors from different countries. And there is big risk, and in crisis period, no one wants to risk big money in such crisis. About Eastern topic, we would like to note one aspect that was missing. Mr. Poikas, ambassador of Latvia to Ukraine, he is working actively. He is monitoring the situation there. He is speaking with people at a local level, and this allows to remove part of tension concerning concerns. And there were webinars in our Chamber of Commerce, and we considered some businesses that need financing. Maybe they lack European experience, but as a Chamber of Commerce for those regions, we've developed a special program that is not completely commercial. This is more about social issues. In Latvia, they say about social entrepreneurship. And we consider this as social entrepreneurship in the east of Ukraine. This is interesting. It is needed. And also Mr. Mishenka, he is an ambassador, extraordinary plenipotentiary of Ukraine to Latvia. And he also helps ATO soldiers and also help children who are brought for having rest in the camps. And they come and have a good time there. And we believe that this will provide proper So I believe that from the European side, there will be proper attention to this issue. And about the guarantee of Latvia's business, due to our ambassador, as you've mentioned before, Alexander, we create consulates in different regions of Ukraine. These are consuls who are local people who are considered like diplomats. For example, we find a partner in Zaporizhzhia Oblast. We have such consuls. These are honorary consuls. They are local officials, people who are known. They help with the contacts. They act like diplomats, and they help to make connections, to develop such contacts and business. At the moment, we have official 5 honorary consuls: Odessa, Lviv, Chernigov, Chernovetska, and Zaporizhzhia oblasts. And we plan in the nearest future in Donetsk Oblast, we plan to open honorary consulate, and in Vinnytsia Oblast we want to open honorary consulate. And we work to have more such honorary consuls. They are not only dealing with economy, they are working in different projects, including educational, cultural, sports projects. It's like deputy of the ambassador in the region. I like the symbiosis of 2 ambassadors for each region. There is a good dynamics in this, and I would like to wrap up our today's discussion. I have a favorite saying: without contacts, there are no contracts. And we have an email address of the Chamber of Commerce, which headquarters is in Latvia. Please address us. And at the We will have all the information about Lea on our platform. With your permission, Inars, and the entrepreneur will be able to get answers to questions quickly. And now several words from you for your wishes for Ukrainian business. Thank you very much. Without context, there are no contracts. This is correct saying. So we have an email. Vyacheslav is in Kiev, and I am in Riga. He is between Riga and Kiev. And the entrepreneur may address to the head of the Chamber of Commerce and to the member of the board in order to get information and understanding what is needed. I believe that this bridge will allow us to increase turnover between our countries in several times. What I want to wish, my contacts, you may find them in the page of the Latvian embassy. And business is not built when you sit on one place. I travel, I meet people. I'm a person of the old generation, and we do business through personal contacts. I believe it is difficult to do business through internet platform. You should see people in real life and to see the production capacities in real life. Please come invest in the territory of Latvia, create business and create joint ventures. Whether they work in the territory of Latvia or Ukraine, joint ventures, these are opportunities to develop both ways. In Latvia and in Ukraine, and both parties will only benefit from this. Thank you very much. Once again, I would like to thank a lot Ukraine Crisis Media Center for the platform. And on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce, we would like to provide you with a gift. This is a calendar for the next year. And I would like to focus on the fact that there are trademarks of Ukraine that are working with the Chamber of Commerce, and I would like to say that we have place on our calendar, so you will be able to become the partners of the Chamber of Commerce, and we will earn together. Thank you.
Дякую, будемо завершувати.
Thank you very much.